Well, hi. I thought I'd kick off this morning talking about the London session so you can get yourself set up ready for that. I'm often asked about different timeframes and where you are. And of course, normally for me in New Zealand, I'm looking at the Asian session. And of course, here in Europe, now I am now in Spain, the London session times up with where I am. So in other words, it's now 11:42 here in Spain. You can see the London session has opened here. And you can see I've got these marked up on here. This is the London session, and I'm using for that the Sonar Lab sessions indicator you can see up here, which is free to put on. Somebody asked me yesterday about what are the numbers underneath here. What are the numbers under here, under each of these? You can see you get them under each session, as it were, and that's just telling you the range that the market traded within that session. One student told me yesterday how to remove these as you're going through, and all you have to do is do this, which is pretty cool. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so kicking off, what do we look at straight away? So we've got the 30-minute chart set up. I've drawn in the ray. I call it the ray or the dashed line. And if you go up here, it says the horizontal ray up here. You can see it on this toolbar that I've got up here. But the dashed line basically set up, and I'll explain how to do that in the training and when you get the pattern indicator, so you know exactly where to put this and how that works. And you can see already that what's happened is the market has now moved above here. Now I'm focusing on this one here, the Euro JPY. And the reason I'm focusing on that is because if you look at the other two, you will see here, the market's not really broken away from it. It's not really cleared away from there. And here you can see here through that session as well. So I'd want to see the market move decisively below this or above this to say, okay, well, this is now kicking off from here. Now, if we look over here, you can see the market has actually started to move out of here. Now, what would interest me is you see this point above here. Okay, so that was a point there that you can see the market has pushed through. Market's come back down into here. So this is an area that I'd be quite interested in saying, okay, this market could quite likely go long from here. Now I'll just get rid of all these markers on here, and then we will go, right, okay, so what would I do on this Euro session from here? So Euro JPY, and if I look here, what I've actually got is a 15-minute, and we've got a 5-minute that you can't actually see because that's hiding it there. Let's just drag that out the way for you. And you can see on this one here, we've got a 5-minute. And these are the two charts that I use to say, okay, well, now I want to refine down where I am and want to look for an entry based on this. Now, I wasn't around here when this started. I've just been out for a bit of lunch and I've just come back and seen this. It's literally, I'm just coming to the screen and looking at this now. And I can see, okay, so when I set my 30-minute line up, this is just carried forward. And if you go to this global setting down here, you sync drawings options, you can see just above my image there. Click on that. Once you do that, wherever you mark on a particular chart will show up then back on the other charts, and that can be very useful. So, for example, if you've marked up your 30-minute chart, let's just put a marker on there so you can see. So you can see here, I put the dashed line out from, okay, I can't seem to do that very clearly, but I can see, the reason I was hesitating on there, if you can see down here, we've actually got another, see that accumulation box running through here. So now I'm going to go back to my chart where I've got it set up, and you'll now see where those lines get carried forward. So basically what you're looking at here, this circle I drew here, and this circle that I drew here is carried over from the 30-minute chart. So what am I looking at here? See, we've got this point here, and we've got this point here as to the extremities of that market travelled during the Asian session. So what I want to do is I want to see the market break away from that session to know that confine. You can see the markets are carried up over here. So I want to see, is the market going to break up through here and get into this top line, or is the market going to go down here? So now I'm not looking at the 5-minute yet because I'm not ready to enter. Looking at the 15-minute, it's come back down onto this line, but the line should be around about there. So what would be quite nice to see here is right at about this area here, nice to be able to see something like a pressure point come in, which is one of these here, or we'd see a market maker activity come here, and then we'd see the market start to move up. And what I would wait for is the market to do this, drop back slightly, and now I'd be looking at the 15-minute at this point here, and then I'd be looking to enter at above this point here. So I'll be looking for a retrace in the 5-minute. And if you think about this, what I've done is I've just made sure that my entry into the market is clear of this area here. In other words, it's broken out of that confine, if you like, of that overall accumulation. So that's all for now. Hopefully you will pick up on this and you'll watch through the London session and you'll see how this plans out. And from that, you should be able to pick up a profitable trade. So have a great day, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Take care.